All right. Uh, I wanna I wanna title this message or this teaching session here. Uh, get help while it's still available. Get help while it's still available. So much that's going on in our world. There's so much that's going on in our communities, stuff that goes on in our neighborhoods. There's a lot of things that's going on with just people in general. COVID started taking advantage, or I should say, people took advantage of COVID and started blaming uh, PTSD, trapped inside of the house for a certain amount of time. They started blaming things on uh, without mask and wasn't vaccinated. We found a way to just find a reason to blame something or somebody for the things that they're dealing with internally. And if you have never experienced, I'm going to talk about, just take notes. Pray that you don't have to experience those things. It's good that if you do not experience a lot of the stuff that goes on, then that's a good thing. But then you have to be mindful about the things that you may face, may mess with you mentally. So you would have to seek for an answer. And I'll start first by saying this, is that when you deal with wakes up and they're always angry, time for that individual or those persons, when it's time for them to be anything other than angry, you'll find out that it's hard for them to be that. It's kind of hard for them to not be angry. At the very little thing you say, they get upset. That they use their words that they feel that they have a freedom to speech to use. Comes to another point to where if you're not careful, their anger can anger you, and then he or the two or either the group or people arguing with one another. Nobody is hearing one another because everybody is too busy trying to get their point across. And then you can be saying the same things, but because you're not hearing, not listening, for anybody to get along or to come to an agreement. Scripture says, how can two walk together except they be in agreed? If there's no agreement somewhere, I did not say because the world uses we're going to disagree to agree. That's contrary, and that contradicts the word agree. You cannot disagree with something to agree with something. It just don't make sense. It's almost like saying, I disagree that the weather, that it's raining outside, but I do agree that it's wet. Well, the ground didn't just get wet from water coming from up under the ground. Cars didn't get drops on them. You see what I'm saying? So we can't agree on, don't do that. We agree with it being wet, but disagree that it rained. If everything that points around us suggests that it rained. In time, and it's just sad that I have to keep saying we living in a day and time. But if that be what I have to remind us of constantly until things get either better for us as a church, not talking about the ministry, and I'm talking about the body of Christ, but until things get better for us as a church, or until the Lord decides to say it's time to come home. But I will keep preaching this same seasoned message with opening up, saying, in a society or in times like these that we live in, because we're living in perilous times. We really living in some hard times where I'm talking people mindsets. You never know what's on their mind. You just don't know. You don't know if your child is going to get angry at you because you decide to punish them, take the TV away, take away their electronics, and then tell them to go to their room. But in their room, they done went in there and done got their hands on some type of a weapon and ready to do you in when you sleep. Expect for their child to go to school and then, or I should say, be dropped off at school, and the child has the parent's gun in their backpack. And then when the child get to school, just because the child is tired of people cracking jokes, the child decides to go into the bathroom. And hear me when I say this, but that particular individual or that child or student does not think on their own. Something is helping that person to think like that. Something is in their mind and is helping them to think like that. So when that child or that student rather gets to the point to where they decide that they're going to open fire out on everybody that they run across, they're just going to unload and they're going to turn the gun on themselves. Examiners will say that child was suffering with a state of depression or some type of mental stress or mental health issue. They're making commercials now about mental health that come on different apps on the TVs like Tubi and Netflix is dealing with, and Freebie and all that, is dealing with mental health issues. Where they're saying, hey, if you're depressed or you know somebody who is suffering from anxiety or depression, they can call this line and we can rush you a free order. You just pay for the shipping and handling. And then they tell you it's FDC approved or FDA approved. They tell you that, hey, this medicine may cause all of these functions to your body that can harm you for a side effect wise. But here you are, you say, I need that. And you go and get that medicine. But they quick to put out what's mental, but they never use the word spiritual. Question to myself when I see certain things. Last night I stayed up a long time watching a certain series on Netflix. It was so good. I was telling myself I'm gonna make this the last one, and that last one turned into another one that could be a last one, and another one that could be a last one, until I just had to just decide to say, forget it. It's mind over matter. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on off. So when I cut it off, I went and got in the bed and I started thinking, and I started meditating on all of the stuff that I thought was going to be sufficient enough. While I was thinking on these things, some things came across my mind, and I said, I wonder seriously what is going on in the minds of people when they can just go and open fire on innocent people who have not harmed them. I cannot blame it on something mental and say that it's a mental thing because they decide to go to a trail ride, and when they went to a trail ride, they decide to open out fire on a group of people. I cannot go and say it's mental when I look around and I see people struggling with things spiritual. When you're dealing with a spiritual warfare, any and everything can get inside of your mind when you're dealing with a spiritual warfare. When you're dealing with something that's spiritual, that's dealing with something that is very unknown. And we just, right there, let's go over to 2 Timothy, that is the 3rd chapter. And when you're dealing with these things, understand that if a person's mindset is not wrapped around what they have going on at that moment, they might just do something. Watch this. They can calm down and never even really remember that they have done it. We call that blackout. Well, they black out. They blank out or black out. They lose chain of thought of who they are, where they are, and what they're doing. It's a medical reason. It's a medical reason behind it. Oh, yeah. But it's a spiritual warfare on the forefront. Yeah. Getting help while you still can, while help is available, is something I think a lot of people need to do. Yeah. And watch this. Getting help means that first the person who says they need help has to be honest with themselves and ask themselves that question. Yeah. Do I even want help? I can say I need help, but do I really want help? Yeah. You don't get a person to stop being homeless because you stopped by and did a good deed by giving them $1,000, because you said the first homeless person that is willing to buy me lunch, I'm going to give them $1,000. They're not going to stop being homeless when they get that $1,000, because it is predicated on how long they've been in their condition and do they really want help. Because a true homeless person would say, I don't need money, I need help. End of the 1,000, when I spend my last penny to that 1,000, I'm still homeless. A homeless person that's truly homeless is not going to hold a sign that says, God bless. And while you driving by or walking by, they pointed at you. And when you look over there, they point their finger like this so you can read it. And when you roll the window down, they automatically know to come to your vehicle. What's this mental problem? It has to be something mentally wrong with that individual to stand out there for 8 to sometimes 12 or 16 hours a day. And I'm not going to say that most homeless people are not homeless. And I'm not going to go and say that the homeless people that are homeless are living better than we are. I'm just going to say this. You have to have a spiritual discernment to know if that person is just playing the part or is they really in need of help. I saw a guy who had a sign up that said, need prayer, homeless, God bless. And I stopped and I said, hey, let's pray. He said, well, you go to church? I said, I do. He said, well, pray for me when you go. But for right now, I need some money. And I told him, I said, what good is my money going to do you? And it's only going to probably be $1 or $5 or 10 or 20. Is it going to change your life? He said, look, man, if you ain't going to just give me the money, go on because you stopping other people from blessing me. I said, no, I'm actually stopping you from cursing you even more because you're lying. There's nothing wrong with you. I said, where are you around your check time? I come through here often, and I don't see you around certain days that you get a check. I said, where are you? You're not on another corner because you reappear after check day. I said, I followed you one evening, and I won't say that I was stalking you. I just followed you. And I saw where you live. And that's a choice. You choose to go into that abandoned house and squat. That's a choice. That's a matter of your mind over what really matters the most to you. When a person says, I need help, they're first of all going to take whatever is offered to them. And they're going to look into it. They're going to say things like, you know what? I appreciate you just for wanting to help me. You don't get a person, no matter how much they're on drugs or alcohol, if they're always abusive and they say, well, I need help because I want to get off, it's the alcohol, it's the drug. No. Because if you're a worser, when you start to have withdrawal symptoms because you can't get it, then it's not the drug or the alcohol, it's a spirit. And the first help we need to try and see is if you're willing to acknowledge that there is another force forcing you or causing you to behave in such a manner. People that have been on heroin for years, it's hard to pull them just right off. You can't. They'll go into a withdrawal. And they'll start foaming out the mouth and shaking real bad and scratching and digging. And even though they sometimes go into a rehab. They can go in there, but they just, if they don't get their hands on it right then, and they start relapsing, they started trying to hurt themselves, or they'll try to hurt workers, or even hurt somebody else. They'll starve themselves to death because you know why? They can't eat nothing. Why? Because the heroin has taken the place of the food. A person that wakes up to drink every day and all day, guess what? It's hard for them to have an appetite for anything. They'll sell a plate just to get a drink. And if somebody points it out and say, hey, look, you need to stop. Slow down. Watch the first sign of a person who does not want help. Watch what they don't admit. They do not admit that the person that said that to them is correct. The first thing they're going to do is say, oh, this ain't nothing. I can let this go ahead anytime. That's why you have to be careful. When you entangle yourself with certain things. Some things used to become what we call a habit. But when it's a constant thing and you just love it, it's no longer a habit, it's a hobby. People stand on a corner and use it as a hobby. It's not a habit. They ain't making a habit out of it. They don't make a hobby out of it. They enjoy standing there getting money. It goes the same way with the pulpit. When a preacher can preach and then prophesy, rather it be true or false, and then get a good collection, it might start off with him or her as a habit. But boy, when that money get to getting good and they see what they can bring in just off of a one-night service, they made more than what they make on their job in a month. Okay. Dollars unaccounted for, not reported to the government, and you just took that up and you collected that ain't got nothing to do with the check that the house done cut you. I know it. It becomes a habit because now you're looking for places to preach. But when you love that money more than you love the things of God and obeying God, you're going to make it a hobby. Yeah. Preaching for money will become a hobby, like a job. It will become your only obligation, to where you will never preach nowhere that's not paying. And preachers, I got to say it, preachers that ask other preachers how many members you got over there, what we looking at, because you know I can't go nowhere without 1,500 off the top. Because the word of God I carry is heavy and it's valuable. It ain't that valuable if somebody got to give you a check right off the bat for 1,500 before you can decide to come and do. What you gonna do? Lie over this pulpit? I give you that much money. Who are being stripped naked, and look at the mental things that's going on with them now. They struggle financially, so they walk around mentally stressed, trying to figure out how they're going to get their money back. That preacher say, preacher, I think I made a mistake. I gave a little too much out of my emotions, and I didn't listen to God. You made me so cheerful that I gave everything. That pastor gonna tell you, well, brother, I think you better pray and believe God. Because, you know, you can't beat God given, no matter how much you try. I'm tired of hearing that. Because right about now, God didn't give it to me for me to give it all the way to you. And if I give it all the way to you, and you're going to go and preach another service. You got a time clock down there so you can see what time it is. You 15 minutes of talk, 10 minutes of hoop, 25 minutes of a prophetic line, 30 minutes of a next general offering. Bring it to me. Put it in my hand. When you put it in my hand, it's going to be blessed. God is going to bless it. And you go on in your secret stash. They look at your clothing. They're able to pick out your clothing. They know what kind of pocketbook size you carry. They look at that big old purse. And if you are broke, they automatically go straight to your debit card. They tell you things like, we got ways you can give. Wow. I thought there was only one way to give, and that's to give. Have it now, watch this. If you have a spouse, you got to explain to your spouse, how did you get robbed in the midst of hype? How did you get jacked for your money in the midst of live entertainment? Now you got warfare in your home. Now you got contention in your home. And it's there because of the fact that you did not see the spiritual side. You let them minister to you spiritually, but your mind didn't connect with them spiritually. You let your mind connect carnal. So you took that scripture when it says, if they minister unto you spiritual things, then you ought to give unto them your carnal things. When you deal with the word carnal, carnal means mindset. Carnal is the mind. To be carnal-minded is to be enmity against God. So when you deal with the mind of giving, you better make sure that your spirit is on one accord with your mind. Never give what you don't have to give. Because if you give what you don't have to give, you're going to find yourself hurting. Walking around with a mental stress disorder. You're going to be stressing mentally. And watch this. When you look at where you are in life, it hurts when you get taken advantage of. Watch this. Let's deal with that. Pain comes to the heart. Agony and mental abuse comes to the mind. I feel it in my heart. But my mind is trying to process why you hurt me. Now, some of y'all ain't gonna like this part, but if I'm not careful with my mind to protect my mind, I'm going to go out and I'm intentionally hurt somebody else without even knowing it, that I did it intentionally. How did I intentionally do it without knowing I did it intentionally? Simple. Because I didn't be real with myself and say, look, I better not. Because if I do today, it might change tomorrow. And if it changes tomorrow, I got to tell the individual or the person that I changed my mind. Now, I better hope I didn't mess up too bad and do what I did too good, because now mentally they in an uproar. And they cannot understand, why did you do that to me? There's something so mentally draining. Anybody ever been in a mental draining situation where it just drains you mentally? You get tired of trying to think of ways to make it work and fix it, and you just drain mentally. So much so to where you just say, okay, whatever, I don't care no more. And watch this. When you take on that kind of characteristic or attitude, what ends up happening is you start letting yourself go in places that you be lying to yourself like you haven't. You start wearing, y'all forgive me for this portion right here, but you start wearing apple bottoms with a plaid shirt. They can be red apple bottoms. Got on some green and purple, yellow shirt. You come in here with a nightgown on and call it a dress. I'm just playing But you know what's you know what's going on? You're losing yourself. And watch this. The first thing you do is say, I need some help. Well, if you really need help, then you got to find folks who gonna help you. I'm gonna just say this portion right here, and I'm not gonna go too far with it. But I was challenged to be a listener and not a speaker. Ooh, that hurt it a little bit. Because I'm so used to listening and then saying. But I had to really just listen. And then it was so crazy because of the fact that listening, you get more of an answer just by listening. A pat to look at my wife and go, because she changed her hairstyle, and say, are you okay today? Wow. Asking her that for, well, you know, I noticed she did something different to her hair. It's not like her. Well, what is like her? She changes up. Or if she come in and she just tired, what do you do? Did he say something to her today? Did he? He looked at her, but what did he? Her. Then watch what she do. She go around with that same mental disorder and spread it in the church. Why, you checked on your daughter? Because I'm just, inquiring minds just want to know. Well, and she go to cousin and she go, you talk to your cousin? The world call it a mental disorder because you mentally, something is wrong with you to be walking around here picking on folks to pick out, to talk to like that. What's wrong with you? But watch this. The scripture says that that's called a seed of discord. That's a spiritual thing. We fight spiritual versus mental. And until you get your mind back and get who you really are, forget the outsiders, forget the people on the inside of this building. Get your mind back. If you need help, you better learn how to say, I need some help. I thought I had all the answers, but I ain't got all the answers, and I'm still trying to figure some of it out. But I can tell you one thing. I had enough sense to make my mind up that I do need some help. The drug dealer needs help. Because he don't believe he's killing his own kind. He don't think that that's his mama he's doing it to. He don't believe that's his daddy, his sister, his brother. He sees what the scriptures say, for the love of money become the root of all evil. Until, watch this, the dope man will get other people to be runners for him. Oh, it's so obvious. They walk around with backpacks on. They keep their cell phone in their hand. They go around the corner. They make that drop. Then they come back around the corner. And then the dope man drive off. Once the drop has been made, he goes around the corner. He collects his package. Because the person that they made the drop to didn't trust them enough, because the dope man didn't trust the person to come back with the money. So he said, once he give you the dope, you go and put my money where I tell you to put it. And I'm going to meet you right there. So he already got the time down. But watch this. What happens when the dope man pulls up, kills the person that did the drop, take the dope back, then go to the person who who was waiting on the drop to get there and say, hey man, oh boy told me he dropped my stuff off, but you ain't put my money there. He said, man, I'm still waiting on my package. Your guy ain't delivered. And then he kills that man. Now he got the dope and the money. What you think gonna go on through his mind? I'll tell you what's gonna go on through his mind, because I've been there. Now I ain't telling y'all no more, but I've been there with the dope. What goes on through the mind of a dope dealer is that now I'm a kingpin. I'm invisible. I'm untouchable. I just killed 2 birds and 1 stone, and not only do I got my dope, but I also got my money. That ain't even really my money. That was that dude's money. I took that. And then mentally, guess what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to condition other folks by using mental abuse, psychological talking and reasoning to pick out some people who don't have true self-esteem to say, look, man, I don't want to be a dope dealer. I want to work for mine. I ain't trying to be out here slanging for mine, looking over my shoulder about mine. Man, I'm going out here and I'm going to get me a real job. And I don't care if this job that I have to take on going to cause me to do like this. And when you turn around and I go, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? I'd rather get an honest job than to sit out here on the corner and let you be my boss. While you sitting around, riding around, picking up all kinds of folks, doing what you want to do. Then you got a trap house over here, a trap house over there, and you gonna try to condition my mind to think that this is my block, my street. You gonna give me a do-rag, whether it's red, black, blue, or gray, and you gonna give me a set to claim, and then you gonna tell me, look, if anybody come up on your turf, you handle your business. You gonna give me a gun that got about 8 bodies on it already and gonna call it a throwaway. Y'all ain't talking to me up in here, but it's a mental thing. You done ministered to my mind in a mean and in a deceptional way. Yeah. And watch this, because I'm mentally already broken, because I'm out here searching for something called acceptance. I want to be accepted. I'm going to go with the flow. But what happens when one day you get caught up and then you make that phone call? And they tell you, look, don't call me on this line ever. I don't know nothing what you talking about. Who you say you is again? Oh no, you got the wrong person. Now you doing time. And the dope man is so big that he ain't gonna show up in court. He gonna send somebody else in his place to see what your sentence is, whether it's heavy or light. And then he gonna send word to somebody down there in the precinct or in the cell. Need you to do that away, because that person now you'll be going in for a booking, not even knowing you finna go in as a murder victim. You getting ready to be murdered. Because somebody inside is going to still be believing the person from the outside. Why? Because the dope man ain't just working the block. He's working the cell blocks as well. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying, do you? And it become a mental thing. The young ladies think because he riding in a nice car, he got a Hellcat. Wow, I just love the way that engine roar. He took me to Sun Classic. He told me that he was going to take me out and he was going to take me shopping. Watch this. You him 4 blocks away from where you are. And when he pick you up, you got to travel light. You got to travel very light. That means don't play in your hair, because you might pull a bobby pin out and he don't need that in his car. You got to travel real light. That means turn your phone off when you with him, because he don't know who tracking your location. He ain't trying to have that kind of stuff coming to him. And if you're not careful, your first encounter might be to grab you by your face, beat you just to put the fear in you. And you'll be sitting there thinking that's love. Why? He went upside my head and he was like, you know what? No, I'm tripping, man. I'm telling you, I ain't mean to do that. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Back to, how did he pick this habit up and make this his hobby? Simple. It comes from him either watching his mama get abused and thinking that was normal. That's how you keep your women under control. Or he saw somebody else get abused, or maybe he had been abused so long to where now he become the abuser. That's why you got to watch out for abuse. Because abuse can make you become the abuser when you end up getting somebody who is not an abuser. Oh, yeah. And then watch what you do. You start thinking about the person who don't abuse you. And you miss them all of a sudden because you're getting your butt kicked. No, you don't. You just need to get your mind right. Watch this. I'm not going to settle for less. Because when I look in the mirror and I see myself, do I still see myself the way that I saw myself? Am I still who I said I am? Or do I hear in my head everything that everybody else say I am? Watch this. A person that's going through something so much mentally and spiritually at the same time, that they be doing it. They be twitching. They twitching. They never stable. If you say, sit down, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Will you stop moving so much? I just got to see if anybody out there. What are you doing all this fidgeting for? I'm not fidgeting. And if you're not careful, that person got to go. A mother that loves her daughter, and her daughter comes over, and the mascara, and she got one eyelash on, and it's hanging. And you know she been crying and trying her best to get out, get away, and she just been crying, and that mascara just running. And when she come over there, she go, hey, Mom, where you going so fast? Come here. She got these big old glasses on. Why you got glasses on? And it look like it's finna rain outside. You gonna see all the clouds. Must I go there? Oh, yeah, back up. Y'all want me to back up out of that one? Come on with it. You say come with it because you probably ain't never been in it. But watch see, I'm coming down. You can hear open invitation. So when she comes by her mama's house and her mama sees this, she goes, baby, what's wrong? Don't. Mama, don't. Don't what? Baby, I just asked you what's wrong. Mama, don't do that, Mama. Because you don't understand, Mama. How Mama don't understand, baby? Mama been right there. You saw me get drugged by your stepdaddy. I had enough sense to get out. What you mean? What's different, honey? Talk to me. Mama, and the phone go off. I gotta go. And if Mama not careful and she got kids, y'all come on. Get in there. Mama, I'll be back. Watch them. And before you know it, I'll be back turns into, anybody seen my daughter? She's been missing for 3 days now. I'm calling and it's going straight. Y'all, I feel like crying because this stuff going on now. It's going straight to voicemail. Her last, what did she have on? I don't remember. Because you was not taught to stop and stop letting yourself be fed into the hype and start observing. You got to be observing. When I see each and every person that come in my path, I'll pay attention to what you got on. I ain't looking at your body. I'm looking at your clothes, your colors, looking at your hair. Because with something, if your last time I saw you, and now I'm being questioned about when I last seen you, man, I'm giving description, I'm giving height, I'm giving what I think your weight looks like. If you're potentially fat, I'm gonna tell her she's potentially fat. He's skinny like Snoop Doggy Dogg. I'm giving everything I can name. Why? Because I'm teaching myself how to observe. Because the times we living in. And all they got to be saying is, well, the last time I heard they was headed that way. And if I'm not knowing why the people are here to ask me this, guess what? I can be the one they getting ready to book. They don't care because you know preacher. Pastors going to jail every day for crazy stuff. Disorder and mental dysfunction and not thinking properly will cause you to do the wrong thing at the wrong time. Jump in the wrong car and didn't see that he had 4 homeboys laying in the back seat. All they want to do is just explore you and exploit you. Then when they get finished with you, if they know you finna snitch, because you shook up real bad, they just gonna go on kill you and just toss you out the car and keep it moving. Oh, listen. And it's scary nowadays. It's real scary now. In these times, it's super scary. Forget Plenty of Fish and all these other apps. And you got folks right on your Instagram liking and hearting everything. And as soon as you going live on anything, they the first followers. Man, that's an obsession. That's an obsession. They end up finding out where you live. Sending you stuff in the mail. I wonder who said this. And if you're not spiritual minded, you open that gift thing up. Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Somebody sent me $1,000. You just don't know it's the person that sent it that was sitting right across the street to make sure it got delivered. You ain't even looking inside the envelope. They don't put a small little tracking device in there. With a monitor, a voice monitor on the audio recording in there. They can hear you praise of God for something that they did. Setting it up. And while you on the phone talking, while you sitting up posting, they picking up everything you doing. They in your house without even being in your house. And watch that, they're not going to expose the fact that they're in there. They're going to use crafty and clever ways to get in there. That's why you have to be careful. You have to be real alert to hear people's words when they're speaking to you about certain things. You got to learn how to listen and break down words. Because sometimes words can mean 1,000 things. But you need to go in there and find that one thing that it actually is talking about. Acronym and synonyms, but right about now, I'm going to get to either the noun or the verb. One or the other. I'm going to get to that. Because that word going to break it down to one simple thing. What is it that you really want? 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. It's going to be hard to kind of put you there. With something mental. And we're not starting at the first verse. We're going to start right here in the 7th verse. No, let's do the 5th verse. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such, turn away. People got a form of the religion. They got a form of God. But they deny the power that's available. That power is the power to help you break free from whatever is causing you to go through a cycle in your life. What is a cycle? Can anybody throw it out there? What is a cycle? Something that's repeated. What else is a cycle? Anybody else want to share? What's a cycle? Anybody?
Well, whatever you're going through at that time, well, I guess when you're going through that cycle, when you're going through whatever you're going through, that time, I know everything is, it's a time for everything. But when you're going through that, at that particular time, you have to, I guess God allowed you to go through it. You know, because if you're not listening to Him, taking heed of His word, well, He set that time for you to go through that, you know, to see if you can, if that's going, you're going to pay attention to it, you're going to
That ain't no cycle, Mother Pay. Mother Pay, don't go too far.
Okay.
You start paddling, and you just started coasting. Let me help you. It's simple. It's something that's repeated. A cycle can be broken. It's like a link on a bicycle chain. It constantly just goes around when it's linked together. But until that link breaks, while it's still connected, you going somewhere paddling. But once that link breaks, you can paddle all you want. Eventually, it's going to come to a stop. You can sit there and paddle in one place if you want to. And I like to call that a crazy cycle, a redundant cycle. How do you break a cycle? How do you break it? Well, the question should be not how do I break it, but I should go and ask myself a question. Do I like this cycle and do I really want it broken? Because if I like it, because it's like a drug to me, then I don't want to break it. And if anybody interfere with me and try to force help, I'm going to have my guard up. I'm going to attack. I'm going to write you off. I'm going to condemn you as my hater. I don't want to deal with you. You don't know what I'm going. Wait a minute. What you mean I don't know what you're going through? I don't have to know what you're going through. Just seeing the cycle that you're in alone is enough. My mind tells me, get out. But my heart tells me, stay. My feet tells me to walk. You got to run. Have you ever came to a front door and you was like, go now. But your body wouldn't move. You get stuck on the handle. And watch this, the abuser, or I should say the perpetrator. I like that word, that the perpetrator asks the victim, hey, what you got going? What you doing? Oh, I'm finna check the mailbox. I already checked it. Oh, okay. Did anything come? No. Now the perpetrator got their eye on you. Y'all seen Norbit. Norbit went to the mailbox at night, didn't he? Waiting on that mail. And Restitution called him one night. Where you think you're going? Oh, Restitution. He had the answer. It's mindset. Y'all might laugh at me, but this makes me laugh because I love Norbit. When she put him down in the basement and told him to build an attic, his mind went there and released out of his mouth what he was thinking, but he had no power over nothing. He said, "That was a bad house." Then he said, "Uh-oh." Why? Because he remembered the abuse. The abuse came when she started getting bigger and her seat was too close and was bumping the steering wheel. And she said, "Let it go, let it go." Then I tell you, let it go. And she popped his eye. The abuse came when she said, "Oh, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, it's your birthday." Yeah. And she bust him upside the head with the speaker. His abuse came when she said, "When Buster's a guest in our house, I dare you insinuate such and such thing like that, you know what I mean?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm actually offended by your accusation, Ordy. You know, help me do like Jesus H. Christ would do in such and such like this. Turn the other cheek." "Well, speaker, you cheated on me." And then it never happened. And then when he called her a mother of whores, she went like a jellyfish and chased him. Then she was so used to beating him and then making him treat her after the beating. Y'all see where I'm going with it? So much so to where, watch this. She told him, "Go down there, rib shack, and give me a sharp back bacon stack of ribs." But he made his mind up when he took that ring off. That's it. I'm tired of being the victim while somebody else is the perpetrator trying to portray to be a victim. I got to get my mind wrapped around the fact that my help is here and I need it. You got people who are struggling with gambling issues. They need help. They don't see that they need the help until they just lost that house that they put that title up. And now they got to go back and explain to the family why we got to move. Casino took possession of that. That child don't realize that they need help until they done shot all them kids in school. And then they ran out of ammo and they thought that they was going to put that last one in their own head and come find out there's nothing there. Oh, I thought they were going to kill me. Oh, they spared me just to humiliate me publicly. It's hard to get your name back when you are a public humiliation. You understand what I'm saying? It's hard. That's why you got to be careful who you let put you on social media and what you allow them to put out. It's hard that if you get caught twerking on cars and hanging down and at the trail rides doing crazy stuff in the middle of the night, watch this, and you there, and then when you come 25 to 30 years old and you become this business person and somebody want to just hate on you and they pull some dirt up on you. You went to school, passed the law exam, the bar exam, became this lawyer, and all of a sudden you working for a great firm. Things starting to go good for you in life. But wait a minute, all of a sudden somebody leaked a video of you to discredit your character because you got the promotion. And they go, and you say, that was 15, 20 years ago. Do that. I'm sorry, we got to let you go. Tell me, what do you think like when you build your living off of your income and off of your reputation that you work hard for? Who in this house will work hard to get somewhere just to have a script from you just like that? That's why you got to be careful who you choose as friends. Because nowadays, friends are frenemies. They're not telling you that I'm going to kill you when you finally get there. They're not telling you that the reason why I hang out with you so much because I want to be you. You have to watch that. You got some folks, they don't want to be like you. They want to be you. They go home and portray that they you. They look in the mirror and say they you. That's a spiritual problem. But the world gonna say that's something mental. But that's spiritual. spiritual. That means that you have lost your identity of who you are. And now there's another entity telling you who your identity really is. And Satan comes to steal the identity, kill who you are, and destroy you, so hopefully you can serve him. And if you go ahead and serve him in the midst of the kill, stealing, and he don't fully destroy you, he'll turn around and say, now I'll show you, we'll destroy that person, and you become them. We like to call that stolen or identity theft. That's why you have to be careful. No married man should bring a best friend female around his wife. Oh boy. No married woman should bring her male best friend around her husband. Hey, I want you to meet my best friend. Oh, don't worry. I hope you can't get your badge. If y'all that much of best friends, just go on and take the badge, because you were bold enough to tell me that's your best friend. So I already know you're going to talk about us when we going through, because that's what people do with best friends. Come on here, somebody. They go and talk, and you know, I know this ain't the movies and this is reality, but you know, what happens when y'all talking and you're talking and you're talking and you're talking and you're Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you're still talking. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Oh. You did that. And you still talking. But then you gotta go, how do I fix that? Because I hid from my spouse what I could have been given to them, and I gave it to that person. And then you lie to yourself and say, that person just made me feel so much better than what I felt in years. Stop lying. Sex is sex. Kissing is kissing. Just like pain is pain. Y'all over there cracking up, man. I must be on some streets today. But it's just what it is. And if you ain't careful, you'll lose your mind. Why do you think we got so many people doing this right here? Rage. In the moment of obsession, full of aggression. My mind told me. You told me, don't you do that. I said, I'll do it. You bet not. I really didn't even look when I squeezed the trigger. I wasn't shooting to kill you. I was shooting to injure you, but I ended up killing you. Do I cover the murder? Or do I call and say, hey, this is a crime of passion. I'm guilty. So no need to read me my Miranda rights. Just come on and get me. Don't come here with all that gun force on me. Don't twist my wrist. I'm laying on the ground right now with my hands behind my back. Y'all know we losing people daily. Huh? We losing folks daily. The church don't preach and talk about these things. We having mental people having mental breakdowns right after they leave church. To her heart, that if her husband encouraged her to go to church so much, and baby, I ain't gonna go this Sunday, but pray for me. You know, my stomach ain't feeling too well. And then all of a sudden, church let you out a little too early that day. Hello, somebody. And you get to walking up. Listen, this is the first thing that wife might ask. What's going on? You see what's going on. Don't you ask no question. Just say, let it keep going on. Thank you. Let me get my picture and video. Don't keep working. Because, whoo, you just delivered me. No, you're going to go in there. My shoe boxes. She thinks think I'm playing with her? Who do you think I am? I'm gonna show her. He haven't done too. Hello? I'm not the kind of child. You're doing all this foolishness. And yet the woman is doing what she just know to do. She was laid there. You look around your house. Ain't no pictures of y'all on no wall. She don't know he married. Ain't no holes in that wall from nails. So if he did take the picture down and try to hide, she'd be like, well, that picture was there. What you do with the picture? I know what people who carry pictures look like. They have nails and stuff all up here. Because you know, country people, they start off with the big picture and the picture stuff. Then they start putting pictures all over the place. And you look around on that side, you got pictures all over the place. Go through the hallway, go picture of the family right there. Go in the bedroom, there go a picture right there over the bed. Ooh, we got pictures everywhere. She gonna say, ooh, I gotta go. He man. And watch this. If the wife did come home, she go hide in the closet like he did on Players Club. But somebody gonna diamond her. Open this door. I ain't playing with you. Open this door. You know what? I ain't even mad at you. But you are. You are. But we got people dying. But I question, where's your mind at? Because the signs are somewhere. Boy, I gotta get out of this one. I let this stuff go. The signs is somewhere. Where did you stop looking, and why did you stop looking for it? Was it because of the last night passion? And you thought it was fixed? I'm about to say something here. You make up through intimacy doesn't make up for the way you ran through me, if that makes sense. You ran through my mind and you controlled it and you manipulated it, but yet I wanted to do away with this in you, but you brought me into the intimate chambers. We became intimate. It took your mind away. So you fixed your mind and say, give him another chance and give her another chance. And if you, that's what your marriage or that's what your relationship will be based upon. And then when you do catch him, you're going to say, I thought you said you won't do this no more. And you got guys who look at females and go, babe, I thought I was the only one. Babe, you told me. Man, you better stop that. And say, and go on about your, speak another language. And go on. Not to have fights and murders if people will be strong-minded and be spiritual-minded. Is that God have created more than just your soul, and until I find that soul mate, I'm leaving all of the flesh mates. And sometimes the best soul mate to find is your own soul. Oh. Got to find yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, or be out here giving everybody else a fragment, a piece of you, and nobody will actually get the real you. Because you're going to be high. That's why it ain't good to go into something and you're injured. Because injured people injure people. Broken people break people. Hurt people. Damaged people damages people. Toxic men and women create toxic relationships. And if someone is toxic, you can't stop them from being toxic. You got to let them clean that toxic stuff out of them. But don't bring your toxic waste over here and dump it in my life. Do that make sense? That's why, and I'm saying this about people who are not married. If you're looking to get into a relationship, you better ask that person before you just get in the bed with them, who do I have to worry about if I'm out with you in the public? How many have you been with? And it's time out for guys using that thing talking about a notch under my belt. No, you better start talking about all your obsessions and who's obsessed. You can tell me you've been single for a year, haven't gotten over you. Because if I post a picture of us, I just need it to be us. Oh my God. I don't need it to be somebody saying, oh, it ain't like you, he for the streets, he for everybody. Late to clean yourself up. It ain't. No. It ain't never too late. Only time it becomes too late is when you land in that casket and all your exes is there. It reminds me of that scripture when they asked Jesus concerning if one brother had the woman and then another brother married her. After that brother died, then she'd have married 5 brothers. Who do she belong to when they get to heaven? Jesus said, ain't none of that up there. Nobody given to marriage and ain't nobody married up in heaven. Because if we were married in heaven, I think God will put us out. He'll put us in the field. He'll be like, I have too many kids up here. I thought them boulders stopped their lineage down there on earth. You coming in heaven making babies. But seriously, if you get with somebody, anybody, because if you get with them and you don't ask all of the right questions, then you'll be dealing with all of the wrong answers. And you can't get mad at the individual for not saying if you didn't ask. You have not because you asked not. And if they don't want to be interrogated, then you don't want to be in a real relationship. If you can't stand me putting you through an interview, then how you going to take the job? Because me alone is a piece of work. It's a job here. And if you don't know how to work, you're in some trouble. So when you look at your life, you won't be saying, I need some help. Or you wouldn't be carrying yourself in life like you miserable. Because every person that has misery in their life, you better know here comes some company. When you're miserable, watch this, the plug will show up. I know you're going through something. Here you go, Woko. And then you smoking and all stuff. I'm hot. He just still hanging around. You hot. Man, I'm hot, bro. You ain't hot. She trying to be one of the homies and all that. And get what? He finna break her in. Mm-hmm. Hot. And she come out of her clothes. Oh, he ain't tell you he put a little PCP in there. Little ice. Ice makes things hot. Ice is a drug you don't want to see nobody on. You thought Adam and Eve was the first naked folks? Give somebody some ice. They gonna walk the streets naked. They coming out them clothes. How you know? I grew up in Allendale where ice hit our city. When ice hit the hood, them women came out their clothes. Ice will make a woman think she got to use it, or a man think he got to use it, and nothing is coming out. But he's straight naked. I'm speaking from what I've seen in the hood. This is an Allendale. Walk around there, oh, that person got a mental disorder. No, that person owns something. It's a spirit in there. And if we're not careful, because if it's pills to function, it's going to be pills to cope with life. If it's drugs to calm you down, it's going to be drugs before you go and do any and everything. What you need in your arm in order to feel relaxed, guess what? every time you feel upset, you're going to go find the needle man. You're going to inject yourself. Crystal meth don't know they really need no help. And watch that crystal meth start putting red bumps and blotches in their skin. Now they got a new drug called the Trank. I don't know if y'all heard of that. That stuff is here now in Shreveport. The Trank is what they give dogs when they want to put them down at the animal shelter. And when you mix it with your drug, it eats you from the inside out, where it actually deteriorates your body on the outside. I showed my wife that on YouTube, where it was in a state, it was down there in Florida. And then that drug got stronger. And they was interviewing them people. And the folks was like, if I could get off of it, I would, but I can't. And they said, but you done lost fingers. They said, but I still can't. It's not easy to get off of. And why? Because it's something that's inside that thing that got a hold of them. And when Satan get a hold of you, he ain't letting go of you. If you got any Jesus in you, you better run back. No, not to the church. You better run back to the Lord. Because before you even walk in the church, I'd rather walk in the church and don't care what nobody think about me than to be walking in here and Jesus tell me I don't even want to talk to you or see you or hear from you. So my first thing is I'm going to say, Lord, help me. Then he'll say, now I'll tell you where to go to get the help. Lord, I need a word. Well, you better not say that, because if you say that, you might just walk in here today and you think the message is you. But you're the one that told God you need a word. I'm the one that said, Lord, I don't want to preach that. 2 Timothy 3rd chapter. Let me show y'all how they jump up in there. In verse 5, he say they have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Form that you have, build upon it. How do you build upon it? By talking to him, praying to him, by picking up if you ain't got a Bible, but you got a phone, and download a Bible app and take on inspirational scriptures to read. Just put something in there. When they turn away, this is what's the results. For of this sort are they which creep into houses. They don't just walk in and they creep in. And led captive silly women. Now, I ain't going to ask you women in here, what kind of woman are you? Are you a silly woman or not? I'm not going to ask you that. You know if you silly. Captive, and they, with silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. No, that I can get real authentic with that. Silly women. Just pointing out the women. You got some silly men. Women are laying down with all sins and led away with divers lusts. Men that says to their wife, I think we ought to put some more spice in our marriage. And he say, well, what you think? In his mind, he thinking another woman. She thinking about that one that she been wanting to bring home in. She just don't want to make it look like she doing it behind his back. So here he go. Wait, what? Baby, you said you'll do anything for me. You told me you love me. Baby, you know I love you. More, and she using that against him, and he's a weak man. Baby, you know I love you. I'll do anything for you. Marry marriage will be open, and baby, we won't have to hide nothing from each other. What all this consists of? Then the man is more of a man in that region than he is. And she don't want that. She want that man and her man to turn him out. Because she gets off on stuff like that. Vice versa. They call them menage a trois, threesomes. Y'all looking at me like I'm supposed to talk about this. But it's the same way with you church women. You know, if you got that boy toy up there in that closet, your husband, you got another fella. Or fellas. Like Money Mac. Fellas. Just ain't said. You call them Bullet, Rover, Boy, my God, whatever you calling it. Might even give him a name. Arrow. I should have probably said that name, but that's the name that came to my mind. Did you get all kind of stuff? I know from experience when I was counseling with single women, and it was like 6 of them down in the country, and they told me, do I agree or consent to them having toys? I said, no, I don't. Go get a real man if you're going to see it. Why lay down with a rubber or plastic when you can get authentic? At least you'll have a chance of saying, oh, we might can be made for each other. You and this, whatever this is, I can't get my mind around that. They say, well, it's clean. You can't get nothing. Well, get what? What you getting? I couldn't understand it, but I had to stop talking and learn to listen. Come to find out these are married women who lying like they single. And they said, Pastor, you ain't so bad yourself. Then I said to myself, I'm going to grab me a gun. Because y'all don't look good. And ain't nobody going to knock me in my head and take me up and just use me. No. Some stuff you learn on this journey. Some things I done I ain't proud of. And there's some things I did. I'm proud of it. Then there's some things I done accomplished. I'm proud of it. There's some things that I overcame. I'm proud of it. You should too. Because when you ask God for help, it may not come today, tomorrow, or next week. Your help might come in the years to come when you finally start slowing down, and then you look back over your life and realize that He's been helping you the whole time. He did it without your approval. May God bless you. May God keep you.